Hey friends, Keith Barton here, director with 31 Gifts, and if you follow me on YouTube, you probably also know me as the Organized Teacher. Making this a live video midday here because I've been getting a lot of texts and emails and Facebook messages lately from parents of the kids that I have in my class wanting to know what they can do to help out their child while we're doing this distance learning. But I've been getting even more messages from people who are trying to figure out how to keep everything organized at home, especially if you're dealing with 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 kids at home trying to juggle distance learning, and they're at different grade levels. So my goal for this particular video is to show you a couple of things that I'm using right now, and then I want to show you how I'm also going to be using some of the products that are down in the basement, maybe some things you've bought for me in parties past, or some items that you had long before you ever met me, and how you can still utilize those to help keep you organized. So right off the bat, I want to let you know that I'm going to be showing you how to do this with some 31 products because that's what I do, and this is the page that we're on. But you can't be a parent without being creative, right? You've had to think on your feet plenty. So I'm sure that if you don't have some of these items around the house, if you have no plans on ordering anything right now because the budget is tight, I want to encourage you to also look around your home and find some things that are about the same size and same shape as the ones that I'm going to show you so that you know how to best stay organized. Finally, I want to let you know that I am currently building a group on this page, a public group that is called Mr. B's Common Sense Not Common Core. So just in case sometime later you're going to come back and look for more organization hacks, or maybe you want an idea on how to teach math or reading or get some social studies projects ideas, I'm in the process of building that. You're probably going to see it pop up later this evening. All right, so let's start with what I use right now. So I teach 3rd grade, which means I'm teaching all subjects because in 3rd grade we don't departmentalize. I don't send my kids somewhere for math, somewhere for science, somewhere for social studies. And last week, when they told us that the schools are going to be closing down for an indeterminate amount of time, we had to grab the things that we thought that we would need to carry on teaching from home. So I'm going to be honest with you, I only really grabbed 2 things. Now, one thing I grabbed was a medium utility tote, which I'm not going to show you right now because all I put in that were my classroom plants. I knew that they weren't going to survive there without me. The second thing that I grabbed was my Deluxe double duty caddy. So let me go ahead and show you that right now. This is what it looks like. It's fantastic for organizing anything. It doesn't have to be school supplies, but I keep this one on my library counter in my classroom because while the kids are doing their morning work, if I'm in the middle of a math lesson, if I have to run into my room during a planning period, I know exactly where I'm going to need to grab everything that I need quickly. I think of this as a sort of command center. It's home base. So what do I keep in this? Well, just because I know that sometimes in the middle of the day, I'm gonna have some sort of caffeine or sugar attack, down here in the front, I just keep this pocket with some tissues, some chapstick, some sanitizer, and usually that is where I'm gonna keep my emergency dollar bills in case I need to run to the sack machine. I also keep in here my emergency Skittles, and this is where I keep my postcards for good jobs that I like to send to the kids every once in a while. For you at home, if you're organizing for homeschool for your kids, this is probably where you're gonna keep the things that the kids are gonna need to use often, but you don't want them all spread out on the table. So I'm thinking rulers, pens, pencils, calculators, protractors, a compass, any tools that the kids are gonna need, but you don't want to create a mess. Next thing I want to show you is that on either side of this double duty caddy, Deluxe double duty caddy, you've got some elastic pockets here, which are going to be great. You see that I'm holding my markers and my pens and my highlighters. On the reverse side, I do have some highlighters, and I see that it fell out. But in the classroom, that's where I keep my backup stapler, okay? So that could also be your roll of tape. It could be your special pens, your special markers, your crayons, whatever you need. Again, easy to get to, but not in front of your face. On the back side, you've got these 2 open pockets where right now I don't have anything but sticky notes. But if you were that type of person who likes to see all your pens all lined up nice and pretty, this is going to be a great place to clip those. So what do I have inside? Well, what I needed to bring home with me was obviously my lesson plan book, right? So that's what I have down in here. I also brought home my binder that's got all of the units that I'm going to be teaching the kids. So this is my pacing guide. Now I want you to pay attention to the fact that if I can fit a planner and a binder in here, you can fit your kids' planners and binders in here as well. I also like organization. So back here in the back, I've got all of my folders. Now in my classroom, every subject is color coded. So I've got blue for social studies, I've got green for science, I've got red for math, and I've got yellow for language arts. Now in the classroom, if we are working on a skill or a magazine or a worksheet, whatever it is, I pop my extra copies in here and I keep it in this planner. That way, in 2 or 3 days, when somebody wants to redo an assignment or if they want an extra copy because they lost theirs, I know exactly where to come. I also brought with me a bunch of Scholastic News magazines. I was in the middle of working on some gifted profiles for my students, so I brought 10 of my students' folders here with me. So let's talk about you at home. This is going to be a great hub to keep all of the things that you're working on with your kids at home. You can start keeping little color-coded folders for the different assignments that you want to teach, the different lessons. Maybe each child is going to have a folder of their own. And what I've been seeing a lot of here on Facebook is a lot of you are using your dining room table or your kitchen table as a sort of home school office. Right, but what happens later in the day when it's time for lunch or it's time to gather for a family dinner? You don't want to go through the hassle of having to clean all of those things up. So having something simple like this Deluxe Double Duty Caddy is going to be a great hub that you can bring out when you need it and put away when you don't. All right, so I'm going to slip this out of the way. And the next thing that I'm going to show you is the tiny utility tote. Now, I'm not going to talk much about this right now because for those of you who've been reading with me every day at 11 o'clock, you've seen this, and if you are a member of my VIP group, Biscuitville, you know that I've already shown this to you as a book carrier, as an Easter basket, as a kid caddy in the car for long trips, on the back of my commode to hold some toiletries. But this is just a great place to put a few things for a small kid so that when it's time maybe for them to work independently. If you try to run your homeschool the way that a lot of we teachers run our classrooms, you bring all the kids together for a mini lesson for a topic and then you send them off on their own to practice for a little while. This is going to be great to have what they need to practice and go move to the living room, go move to the bedroom, go move to wherever they're trying to do their work. Next, I'm going to try and show you a couple of different solutions at once, and I'm going to pull out first this small utility tote, because what I find as a teacher is that when you start pulling out all of your items, you're also going to need to put them somewhere to get them out of your way or to travel. So we're not going to talk too much about the small utility tote because I'm just using it as a holder, but what I want you to see is back here in the back, I've actually got my laptop. Now, I'm pretty careful with my laptops. It's not in a neoprene cover or anything like that. And if your school is anything like mine, your child probably got sent home with some sort of tablet or some sort of electronic. They probably have rules like carry it with 2 hands. But if you're going to go to the library when it finally opens up again, if you're going to work outside in the backyard or walk down to the neighborhood park and you want your kids to be doing some work, this is a great way to carry even the heaviest and the largest of things. So what else do I have down here inside? Well, first, let's start with one of the reasons that your kids are probably driving you crazy right now. I bet they're eating you out of house and home. When people just in general forget about the fact that their kids are bored, we like to eat. So how do you keep your kids from eating through all of your quarantine social distancing groceries? I'm gonna show you this little scary old Caddy. Now you can see here that mine has got a Christmas pattern, and that's actually one of the things that I like about these 31 products. When you're talking about organization, when you're talking about utility, who cares what the patterns are? I've got right now a Rudolph one in the bottom of my refrigerator right next to a Frankenstein one that are holding all my meats and cheeses in that crisper drawer right now. I've got a Rudolph one inside my pantry holding all my sauce packets. So who cares what the patterns are? You're bound to have one of these around the house, so might as well get some extra use out of it. And if you've got more than one kid, I'm going to recommend you have one for each child. And this is where their snacks are going to go. So we're all trying to eat more healthy, but kids are going to be kids, and we're also trying to have some fun. So if you tend to ration out the sugar, ration out the snacks, ration out the groceries, inside this caddy is what the kids get for the day. Now they can come over to this anytime they want, but once the snacks inside are gone, that's all the snacks they get for the day, and they're going to have to hold out until lunch or dinner. So I've got inside one little juice, my little bit of sugar that the kids can have each day. I've got a cup, so that in case they're going to get some milk, going to get some water, we're not getting 30,000 different glasses that I then have to wash in the sink. We're not throwing away 50 million styrofoam cups because they're too lazy to go get the one they have. This is their cup for the day, and this is all the juice they get for the day. Inside, I've got a fruit cup, I've got an apple, I've got some of those breakfast cookies. I've got a Nutri-Grain bar. But you could fill this up however you want to fill it up. And if your kids are beyond the age where you can ration their snacks, this is a great place to hold pens and pencils and tools. They're on the table. Again, things are easy to get to, but when it's time to go back to that table for a meal, we can just take this caddy and move it somewhere else. And once finally this social distancing is over and we're back in schools, this can move to your pantry for the sauce packets like I just told you. It can move to your bathroom for guest towels. It can move to your car for a small trash bag. So we're gonna think beyond just right now and see if we can find some products that are gonna help us now, but they're also gonna carry us into the future. Next thing I have in here, I'm gonna pull out, I mean, I love this thing, and I have several of these. It is the Get Creative zipper pouch in the front. It has got that hook and loop pocket where you can put a lot of things. Right now, it's where I have my electronics cloth. When I open it up, I've got some organization for my pens and pencils, and this is the type of thing that I love. Now, over the last couple of days, I've been using this a lot, but if you see it in its natural state, I've got all my blues, all my greens, all my yellows, all my pinks, so that my pens, pencils, and highlighters are separated by color. I've got some notes and some business cards and things here. But in the back, I've got my planning calendar and I've got my Kindle. Now, for your older kids, this is going to be great because they probably do have some sort of a tablet, some sort of a Kindle. And if they don't, I'm just going to remove these for a quick second. Let's see if I put it down in here. Yeah. Let's pull out just a trade paperback book, which is probably about the size of the chapter books that kids at home are reading right now. And I'm just going to show you without a whole lot of working, it does fit into that pocket. So now I'm gonna zip this up. And your younger kids have a great place to organize their pens and pencils and treasures. Your older kids have a great place to keep the chapter book that they're reading, maybe some notes that they want to take. So if they are in the car driving with you somewhere, they can pull this out and get to work on a book wherever you want them to work. Later on, we're going to use this for our planner. I've seen some ladies organize their makeup brushes in this. I've seen some people organize their electronics, their earbuds and their chargers and different things like this. So again, we're using it now for homeschool education, but later on it's going to carry us to help us organize ourselves. Next thing that I want to show you is actually a thermal. It's a lunchbox. So why the hairy heck am I showing you a lunchbox when none of us are going to school right now? Well, one of the things I think about is this. Currently, we cannot get into our school because the school system has spent a lot of time and money disinfecting and sanitizing that building. So if your kids have just come from school in the last couple of days, you probably want a new lunchbox anyway, or at the very least, you're gonna wanna take some sort of wipes and clean down the backpack and the lunchbox that they've brought in from school just in case. So this is the type of lunchbox, lunch thermal that I use on a daily basis. This one is called the Lunch Buddy. So obviously we're gonna use it for food. However, we're not only gonna use it for food. So you can see that down inside, I've gone ahead and I've put some snacks, some drinks, and a book and some activity books as well. So for your younger kids, this is going to be a great place for them to just keep all of their treasures, especially if you're juggling more than one kid at home right now. What's probably happening is sister is getting on brother's nerves and brother is plucking sister's nerves. So if we have a specific lesson, if we have a specific book that we're trying to read, some worksheets that you're doing, an activity book like a Mad Libs, or just a project that you want your kids to work on, why don't you consider go ahead and grabbing them some new lunch boxes for when they do go back to school. But in the meantime, you're going to use this as sort of their attaché case, for lack of a better word, their briefcase. Put in the things that they need, bring them to the table. When it's time for them to work independently, they can either use that tiny utility tote that I was showing you, or they can use this lunch thermal. Now, one really creative idea that I have seen recently is heading to the dollar store and getting one of those battery-operated stick-on lights and just stick that right here so that if the kids have a special reading place, a tent that they've built in the basement or a closet that they like to go sit into or just a dark corner of the house, they can prop this up against the wall and have that little light shining on what they need to read. Right? So I'm gonna get that one out of the way. Now, the last two things that I have in here are pouches. And to be very honest with you, let's get one, let's get two, let's go ahead and get three out of here. pouches, no matter what size you're going for, are a great way to just organize your life in general. And from largest down to smallest, we've got the zipper pouch. If we take it down a step, we've got the Ruby Mini. And if we take it down another step, we've got the Mini zipper pouch. So I'm gonna tell you that there's a time and a place for all of these. Many of you probably already have a mini zipper pouch and you probably use it for the exact reason that I'm about to show you. I've just filled it with pens and pencils. It can be filled with pens and pencils in your backpack, in your purse, in your caddy, in your zipper pouch, anywhere you need. Later on, you can fill it up with your chapstick, your car keys, all sorts of things that you need down in your tote, down in your purse. If your kids are older and you're thinking that they're not going to want something cutesy, you can go for the Ruby Mini, but I'm going to tell you, to me, this is up in class, okay? Not something that I think I'm going to give an elementary school student, but if you've got some teenagers, this is going to be the thing for them, because later on, after they're done hiding their pens and their pencils from their brother and sister, this is going to be great as just a purse. So again, we're thinking beyond this time and we're thinking into what we're going to be doing in the future. So that's just an extra step up. But the regular zipper pouch has got so many uses. And I'm not going to go into all the ways that I've used them in my classroom because we've seen that video before. But just to let you know, down inside, I've got a much thicker chapter book, the one that we're reading actually. I've got a larger poetry book, just in case your kids are younger. And then I've also got a notebook. So during this time, one of the things that we probably want our kids doing is not just reading, we also want them writing and talking about their writing and talking about their reading. So if you have your kids reading a book, maybe this is going to be a great place for them to also keep their journal. So this is going to be fantastic for when you do have to leave the house, or for when you've got a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old who just needs a break from the little ones and they're going to go outside to the back deck. They're going to walk down to the park. Maybe they are going to head over to their friend's house and do some work on a common book, a common project, but this is going to be fantastic. Number one for now. Number two, just for keeping you organized later on, I want you to think about having this as a place for some of your toiletries later on when we're traveling again, and pop this down into your briefcase, or your suitcase is probably what I should have said, okay? So that is a quick look at what I'm doing right now with some of my organization things, but I want to also share with you some ideas that I have for products, some of which are no longer available, but if you've been with me in 31 for a while, you probably already have them. So let's take a look at this guy. The Zout, the Zip Top Organizing Utility Tote. Now, this is not discontinued, and I doubt that it's ever going to be discontinued because it's got billion uses. So I've seen this, and I do use this right now for a sort of work bag in my car. I've got one in my trunk with all of my car, like my junker cables and my flashlights and my gloves and all that type of stuff. Mom uses one as a gym bag. I've seen them used as a church bag, especially if you were a Sunday school leader or something along those lines. It's even been used as a diaper bag. So part of the reason that I'm showing you this one is to bring back that laptop. If your kids are going to need a place to place their laptop and get it from place to place safely, this is going to be a fantastic place for that. Now, I'm going to tell you that this bag does not have a whole lot of structure, so this is not one of those things that I'm going to be giving to my 8 or 9-year-old to carry their laptop, but the older ones could for sure use this. And we've got 2 pockets in the front, 3 pockets in the back, and then 2 elastic pockets, 1 on either side. So that is the Starbucks mug, that is the computer charger, that's your mouse, that's pens and pencils, that's a lot of different things. And if we're taking it to the next level, I'm gonna bring out another product called the Fold and File. Also not discontinued because it's just so useful. 2 elastic pockets on the front, no pockets on the inside, but right now I've put in here a whiteboard, I've put in here a clipboard. I could even go back to my Deluxe double duty caddy and pop down in my folders for my organization. This could be a place for my planner. And then when I'm ready to head back to work, I'm gonna pop everything down here in this Zout, zip it up, and now I've got a mobile office or a mobile workstation. All right, so just think about that organization. You are bound to have 1 or 2 or 3 of those around the house because they've even been on special before with 31. Very, very useful. So now let's pull out these 2 guys. So this is a Super Swap It pocket, and I am pretty sure that this one is discontinued. I don't even think that this is an online extra. Might be though, in a certain giraffe pattern. If you have one of those, I want you to think about using it for the same reason that I just showed you. Oh, and Flat Stanley. I can't forget to take my pictures with Flat Stanley. I'm gonna put him down back in there along with a whiteboard and a clipboard. And I tell you what, I haven't even touched on this guy yet. This front zipper pocket for pens and pencils. The back zipper pocket for pens and pencils and folders. And then down on the inside, you've got some elastic pockets. I don't know if you can see those there. So just in case you've got this sitting somewhere. Now we used to use these to get ourselves from tote to tote. If you were moving your items from your Cindy tote to your around town tote and didn't want to dig everything out, you kept everything that you were using regularly in a Super Swap It pocket and just moved this. But now it's great for organizing these homeschool ideas. And just in case you do in fact have a dedicated spot that you're using, maybe you just want to keep everything out of sight. So I'm going to open up for you this display bin. Now this, I believe, is still available as an online extra, even though it's not in the catalog. Just going to be a great workstation. So later on, when you have got maybe that lunchbox that we talked about, the zipper pouch, the Ruby Mini, maybe even if you're gonna take my suggestion and buy that little snack station, all of that is gonna fit nice and neat on the table, on the desk, back up against the wall, so that you don't have a table or a desk that's just littered with the supplies that you're using right now, right? I think the last thing that I'm gonna show you, I know this video has been kind of long, is the fold-up family organizer. Now, I was shocked when this one was discontinued. It's not in the catalog, but I'm pretty sure that there is still one pattern left in online extras. And the fold-up family organizer is meant to be used for your toiletries. As you're traveling, you're gonna see that when I open this up, I've got 4 different PVC pockets where I can organize, but this is the one from my classroom that I'm just using as a pencil pouch right now. So that's a full-sized steno notebook up there. I've got highlighters and a pack of pencils. I've got my colored pencils, and down here I've got sanitizer, a Sharpie, dry erase marker, a glue stick, and some scissors. So this is going to be great to hang on the back of a chair, to hang it on a doorknob. And then when it's time for homeschool to be done, we're just going to fold it back up, click it, pop it down in that Zout, pop it down in that display bin, pop it down in that small utility tote or that Deluxe double duty caddy. And then when all of this homeschooling distance learning stuff is over, you've got something to use for your toiletries. All right, so that was a lot of ideas and products all at once. I hope you found something helpful. And as always, if you have any questions, comment below or message me directly, and I will do my best to get back to you with some ideas. For now, you guys have a happy Thursday. Bye.